Please subscribe show. YouTube Cole Spivey. Yeah!
All right, so we made it to UNT. As it pulls me out here every once in a while, we are going to Avenue C, but we are on Eagle Drive, which is kind of the heart of the University of North Texas, which is where I graduated. This is my alumni. Alma mater full of grace, how ye thee blah blah blah. Anyway, that's the UNT alma mater. And there is some new buildings that I've never seen before. This is a new one, completely new. University of North Texas, right here. You can barely see it. And I'd have never seen that building before. So that's a new building. If anybody knows the name, leave a comment. It actually looks very foreign. Major change. Wait, hang on. There's my old dorm, I think. It's a co-op dorm. It's actually on the other side of that one, so it's very close to that one. That was the one I first moved into. It's a huge, towering dorm. One level was guys, girls, guys, girls, guys, girls. I think that was a really crappy wash it dry. They kind of souped it up a little bit. Probably used some kind of electronic card nowadays. Back in my days, you could probably even use dimes in it at times. I think it mostly took quarters. Right here, New York Sub-Hub was something else. And there's Chinese fast food. It looks really crazy. Oriental Express, I think, maybe it's still been there. Okay, I remember this road. Right? Oh my God. Sorry about that. These curbs are really crazy for bikers. Yeah, they still have the old bus routes too. Right here is when I took African Ensemble. It looks pretty much the same. Gideon was our teacher. He was from Westganya. He was right there. And my dorm was way down there. It was, like I said, it was a co-op dorm. Eventually, I moved all the way across campus. I was an undergrad, but I moved into grad school dorms on that side of the dorm, way over there. I don't remember all the dorm names, sorry. But this was a famous one for musicians up here to the right, and hippie chicks, especially that had parents that named them after Fleetwood Mac songs. This girl I knew, her name was Rhiannon, so she was named after a Fleetwood Mac song. We had kind of a passionate affair, campus affair for a while, until things got weird. A little bit of drugs, but not a whole lot. This is a music, it's called Vortman's Music Concert Hall, right here. And I listened to Thelonious Monk live stuff. He wasn't there, but they were playing it. And this is a famous dorm that I was talking about right here, right behind this University of North Texas sign right here. It's a well-known dorm right there. Actually, my girlfriend stayed there for a while when I was here, when I was on campus. Also, I did rehearsals in that dorm too. When I did the Sam Shepard Played Action. Oh, don't tell me I'm dropping this off at a dorm. Oh, goodness gracious. It's like Indian food. It's being dropped off at a dorm. All right. I'm on Sycamore right now. I also lived off this road too, and the grad dorm's way over this way. Oh yeah, I've dropped off here before. Great. I don't remember the name of these dorms either. I've never really been in them, but to drop off food recently. But I think the name on it is Conley Hall or something like that. McConnell Hall. Yeah, so it's known as McConnell Hall with Sycamore. Never really been in it. Anyway, it's got some information. To new women's dormitories. McConnell Hall is a crumbly hall. Opened on campus in 1961. I don't know if it's still all female or not, but it's a loan from Federal Housing and Home Finance Agency. Boy, this is exciting. They have a Mac Cafe. Anyway, yeah, I made sure that she stayed 6 feet back. All right, so we're out of here. Hopefully out of Denton. You don't want to do a lot of dorm drops. Things are just annoying at times. Anyway, I might be able to show you where I lived for a little while. These grad dorms, which were like, they're almost like cells. They were really like small and tiny. They had a suite mate that was usually noisy. You could, there'd be all kind of complaining all the time. That was too noisy. My friend Steven lived in these right over here. Actually, I lived in I don't know how many I lived in. I lived in those too. So I lived in one that were a co-op, way on the other side. It was a giant tower one. That's when I moved into. Then eventually I moved into these one year. I don't even know if we picked our dorms, but you had to live on campus, I think, for at least 1 year. This one's called College Inn. I lived there for a while. And my German roommate, or actually I'm not German roommate, what am I talking about? My German tutor, Alona used to come over. She lived there too. And she would come over to my dorm to teach me German because oh wow, I remember this parking right here was really crazy. They didn't go all the way through. But I lived, okay, I'll show you where I lived. I had a black roommate friend I lived with that was in, he was communications. And boy, did he snore like crazy. It was one of these right here. Like 7-Eleven or one of these right here. I can't remember the exact one. My girlfriend from Fort Worth would come see me, named Victoria. We hung out for a while. I only had a couple of girlfriends on campus. It was Victoria and Rhiannon. When they found out about each other, it wasn't very good. But anyway, these were College Inn. I lived here for a while. And then I eventually moved, I think, to this side of campus, which were these were basically grad dorms. And I lived next door to a basketball player, but you had your own private room. So it was really cool. I jogged a whole lot of it. I was a big, like, daily jogger. And I think it was that one right there. I want to say it was that one that I lived in. And I got sick one time, and Rhiannon came in, and I sent her off to get a thermometer. I got a flu or something like that. It was really bad, and she took care of me for a while and gave me chicken soup. And I had this little hot plate. Yeah, I lived in these. Don't remember exactly where, but they were connected to the other ones that I lived in too. That's what's weird. I don't know if these were always connected. It's a possibility they may have been. They're connected now. But yeah, it was right down here. Can I recognize it? I could be wrong. I'm gonna go around the other side and see. But I know for sure I lived in these on these side because I remember this funky little thing. I don't know if they connected it. They probably did. I just don't really remember. My friend TJ, yeah, I lived over here for a while. My friend TJ lived over here, and he gave me the Ken Kesey book I still have today, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He lived like on one of these right here. And he came over and he gave me Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I read it, loved it, thought it was a great book. I haven't read a lot of books, but it was one of the books I really enjoyed. I read it from cover to cover, and then went back to TJ. Told him, oh, this is a one-way crap. Told TJ it was a really good book. Yeah, TJ lived in those little apartment things right there. he was going to school. I used him in a couple of directing scenes because I took a lot of directing classes in the theater arts department. I think I can go around this way. I think this is always one way. Rhiannon used to walk like around here in some park. She would smoke some herb, one of these parks or something. She said even like sometimes the police would like smell her walking down the street and she'd be like smoking one, and they were like, that's a sweet smelling cigarette. They didn't really do a whole lot because they actually, when I lived here, and I graduated in 2000, December, it's University of North Texas. When I lived here at the time, and I lived here from 1997 to 2000, they had the biggest drug bust in the nation for marijuana. It was coming right out of Mexico. It was the largest drug bust for marijuana. Very big one. And they were hidden in the walls of this house. And I mean, it made national news. Like there were marijuana in the wall, in the basement, in the couches. Like the whole house was covered in marijuana. And it was a big undercover sting. Also, after I graduated, I ran off to Hollywood from here, from Denton. I left from Denton and basically went to Long Beach, California. That's after I graduated. I had a bunch of credit cards and just took off. What ended up happening a few years later was a kid was in a fraternity, and he basically was being forced to drink water, a lot of water, in a hazing event for some fraternity. It was one of these houses or some fraternity house, and they had to close the whole fraternity because he died. They hazed him to death. And I remember the year I left, which was right around 2000, I had a little mountain bike, and I would bike to this nearby theater, and I saw Fight Club, remember, with Brad Pitt. I decided not to become a teacher after seeing that movie. This is on North Texas right here. I decided to go and give it a try. It was a Fincher film. It was Fight Club. And I thought, man, that movie really pumped me up. And I thought, no, I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm going to run off, and I'm going to be an actor in Hollywood. True story. My friend Danny, his brother is Johnny Whitworth, which is a professional movie star actor, Empire Records guy. He played AJ. Danny Whitworth was his brother, and he hung out with me a whole lot. He was kind of my best friend on campus. And I found out his brother had worked with Francis Ford Coppola. Now, I did live in these right here. I did live in these. These were grad dorms. And yeah, they're connected now. So they connected those two. I lived right there on that little area right there I showed you. Anyway, Danny was like one of my best friends. He did do a little short film with me, a little stunt film that was a short film, because he was in radio, television, film, and theater arts department. That's how I met him. Met him in a costume shop for Course Line, and we had to iron all the clothing for Course Line, and then the next year I think we had to do the same thing for Cabaret. We were assigned as the ironing men. That we did not know how to iron anything ever. We never succeeded. But we did pass the course, but we did not do our jobs ironing, because one time we ironed all night trying to get it right. We could not iron. We ironed all the clothing throughout the entire night until morning. Birds were chirping, the sunlight had come up. We never ironed anything. It was all wrinkled. By the end of the day, by the end of the night, by the morning came, and we were assigned to iron all the clothing. I think they had to redo it or something. We just did not know how to iron clothing. And I still don't know how to iron clothing today. This is right here where Danny shot a scene. I don't know if Danny has the video. I hope he does. But it was down this hill. I rolled down this hill in kind of like a Charlie Chaplin, a Buster Keaton, I guess, more Buster Keaton kind of style thing. I rolled down this hill right here in one of Danny Whitworth's films. He was radio, television film. He had me be in it. And I rolled down this hill because I was chasing after this girl, trying to give her hat back. This little beanie hat that I used to wear. We used it. This is the Armadillo Building. I know the real name sometimes, but this is where we performed As You Like It. And I played Duke Frederick. You can kind of see it. I do that. It figures I have to do this stuff at night. But that's the Armadillo Building. That's what we called it. Performance. And we went to Czech Republic. And the Sakanti Festival, which was like... Sakanti is a festival they have in Czech Republic that has to do with theater. And we were the only only school chosen in the United States of America to represent America in this European festival. Everyone from China, Japan, Russia, people from Poland were there, probably the Ukraine. There were probably people from everywhere that went to this Sakani festival. They were all over the world. And we got the worst write-up because the entire thing was called Encounters. And it was, you had to do whatever you did, if it was classical Shakespeare or whatever the play was, you had to do it in a modern setting. Just think of postmodernism, right? Very modern. And what did our director do? Very classic Shakespeare. Not even one anachronism. You know, if you know what an anachronism is, look it up. Nothing to show modernism. And this is a lady that studied with Grotowski, you know. But anyway, we got a horrible write-up, but we got through it. We survived it and came back. I don't know why we did it, you know, classic. I guess no one got the synopsis, or they didn't read it right or something. So by the time we get there, we fly thousands of miles across the Atlantic, and we're the only one there in classic Shakespeare garb. She might have done it as a joke. I don't know. And like the write-up was horrible. They were like, UNT does not follow rules at all. They did Shakespeare classic with classic costumes, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it was modern times, you know. But we got through it. We survived. And I played Duke Frederick, and my funny character, because I was split into two characters, so she gave me two roles. I was very amazed that I even got to go, because I was kind of the rebel. But she did cast me as Duke Frederick, and then Sir Oliver Martext, who marries Touchstone and the farm lady, which was kind of the comic kind of relief of As You Like It is kind of a comedy, you know, if you know anything about Shakespeare. It's the one where Yaquis gives the speech, all the world's a stage and we are mere players, that one. It goes through the ages of man, from when he's a baby to an old man, the whole, you know, the monologue. But anyway, that's the Shakespeare monologue that's in it. It's a famous monologue. And I think we did a pretty good job. There's the Apogee Stadium, the new one. And I'm headed back to the Speedway.